Lunch Money Lambert, Jeff Malott. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation, where we talk about fishing and competition. It's your boy Ox Pippin, aka Ox Fishing. Don't come over here tripping. Hey, hope you enjoy the show. Jeff Malott, Lunch Money Lambert, Lego. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. What's up, Ryan?
Here we are. I'm back. Y'all are still here. Good job.
You're back. Yeah, you were lost in the elk woods. I called it the elk woods. Is that an accurate? The elk thickets? The mountains?
There are some woods. There are some woods out there. We got out in some deserts. We did a little bit of everything on this one.
Okay. Well, we enjoyed following along on your stories as usual.
Challenges abound, my friend.
Hey, was that, and then you ended up on a gator hunt. Was that viral pic of the dude karate kicking a gator from your hunt that was going around?
No, but I photoshopped Co's manager Dre. I photoshopped his head on it and sent it out to everybody last night. He's built very similar to the young man karate kicking the gators.
Well, we missed you last week, man. We had Wesley tag in. She did a great job co-hosting. So shout out.
That's
to Wesley.
That's what I hear. Congratulations. Thank you, Wesley.
She did a good job, and it was a good show last week. But we missed you. You know how we do. We got the mojo.
We're back. We're back in action.
You got going over here. But hey, what happened over the weekend, man? Besides gator hunting and elk hunting, what, you do anything else? Just get back and rest?
No, dude. So I've seen this forever. People eating alligator gar. I've seen these videos on YouTube and stuff. They crack them open with a hatchet and all that because their skin's really tough. So these guys, Saturday afternoon after our gator hunt, they're like, y'all want to go jug fishing for some alligator gar? And I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? We caught those things, and this old boy down there, he cracked it open and cut it up in little nuggets and fried it. Jeff, I'm telling you what, I mean, next to delicious golden crappie, that's probably my absolute favorite fried fish. So hats off to Cajuns and alligator gar. Yeah, it was delicious.
How about, that's a lot of meat in one shot too,
buddy. It was so good, so good.
Is there a size that makes them better? You know how you get a big catfish?
They said the smaller ones are better. They get up, you know, he said there's a lot of like 7 to 8 footers in there. He's like, those aren't quite as good, but we had a couple that were, I don't know, I'm not good with inches or anything, but however many that is.
Big.
Yeah, it's pretty solid little eating size. We caught a giant redfish on a jug too, which was hilarious.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, that was fun to follow along, man. I'm glad you're back with us this week.
I had all my living done. I'm staying home now.
Yeah, man. I had a great week. I'm going to show you something back over my shoulder there, if y'all can see that.
Yeah.
I got a sign. Little Roro rang the bell. After the show last week, we went up there Tuesday. They had a ring the bell ceremony at Children's Hospital, and man, what a day it was. So
that's awesome.
Man, little champ pulled through. Yeah, no signs of cancer in her body right now. We had a party here at the house Saturday for her. Crawled around on the floor with her. I'm still sore, but Roro, man, she did it. She made it through. Ashley stole that sign out of there. All the nurses signed that. Deborah let us have it, so we got a little keepsake from the deal, and we're hoping that she's free and clear from here on out. But right now, she's good to go. So thanks everybody in the nation. Thank you, Ryan. Everybody for the support for her and the prayers. So yeah, Roro's
awesome. Love to hear it.
Yeah, man. But other than that, not much going on over the weekend. Just celebrated Roe and ate some food. Watched the Razorbacks be terrible. Brutal.
I've been trying. I mean, football's just kind of been so up and down this year. I don't think there's any predictability. I thought Georgia was about to get knocked off by Auburn. This has been a wild little year here. I don't know how this is going to shake out.
Yeah, from a fishing perspective, over your neck of the woods, a former KBN guest, Luke, took down the Cast Championship, right?
To be honest with you, I didn't even look. So
yeah,
I mean,
Steve can comment on that. But our boy Luke,
the guy that won the Chickamauga,
Chickamauga
thing. Golly, what a year! Good
yeah,
job.
he took down the Cast Championship. So my man's just dominating over there. Don't mess with him. Don't pull up on him.
Congrats! You can't beat that.
Yeah, so maybe we'll slide him on. I know last year we did some like AOY shows and state champion shows. So maybe we can pull a couple state champs and bring.
Yeah, most of those are kind of winding to an end now. So we'll probably have some cannon fodder for a little bit in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I know Arkansas State Championship's coming up next week, and like you said, Lone Star Throwdown's coming up. A couple Bass Nation state stuff's coming up. So we'll have plenty of stuff to talk about. Plenty of stuff.
I like it.
But tonight we've got Steve Owens from Bassmaster and Luke, also known as Luke Aryan from Oklahoma, to talk about. We saw the big news about Tenkiller getting selected, so we wanted to have both these guys on. Steve, of course, from Bassmaster, to talk about how and why they chose Tenkiller, which I think is an awesome selection. Talk about the season in general. Final events coming up next weekend on the Susky. I even wore the small jaw shirt in honor of the Susky, Ryan, since you reminded me.
I like it. Yeah, since I'm not going to go to it. Thank you.
Yeah, and then of course Luke, he's going to give us the breakdown on Tenkiller. He's an Oklahoma guy, one of the guys that helps run the Oklahoma Kayak Anglers, and he's just a good angler. So he'll give a breakdown on Tenkiller. So that'll be fun. If you guys saw on the comment or on the overlay there, we're doing a Z-Man giveaway tonight. You know how we do. Like and share on Facebook. Comment where you're watching from, and just like everywhere else. Twitch, YouTube. Look us up over there. Just like and comment where you're watching from, and we'll do a giveaway later on. Should be good. We've done a couple back-to-back Revo shows, Ryan.
We have. Yeah, need to get everybody's eyes protected.
Yeah, they've been big. So time for some Z-Man stuff to go out. It's about that time when most places in the fall, the chatterbait will be working. I guess it works.
They've been catching pretty good. They've been catching pretty good on the Tennessee River on the old chatter jig here lately.
Okay, we got our Twitchers in. YouTube, Facebook looking solid. Just remember, hit that like and share over there on Facebook, like and comment on the other places. We appreciate y'all. If you're watching on Rumble, Twitter, wherever else, we can't see the comments here on the software from there, but we appreciate you nonetheless. So there you go. Of course, shout out to the sponsors. We can talk about a little Dugout with Steve-O. He's pulling double duty there, but Dugout presents the show. We appreciate them. Pro God Lithium, as always, the battery of choice for KBN Nation. Bangtail Whiskey. Did you have any Bangtail on the trip, Ryan? Any Bangtail get passed around?
I flew too much to be hauling any Bangtail with me, so I was pretty much down to the bare necessities.
Couldn't run any moonshine across the line there. Like we said, we're doing the Z-Man giveaway tonight. We've done a Revo the last couple of weeks. We'll be coming up with a Seaguar giveaway here pretty soon. And, of course, get your gill fishing gear, because it's about that time. It's about that time, man. It's getting colder. Yep. It's going to start raining again. You need to stay warm and dry out there, especially when it's cold. So hook that up. Let's get the fellas in here. Start talking about Tenkiller and a little bit of bass.
Let's do it.
Bass Nation stuff. Here we go. Steve Owens, Luke Aryan. What's up, fellas?
Hanging out with you fellas like wet clothes. How y'all doing?
Yeah, welcome back to the nation.
Thanks.
Always glad to be here. Got to watch Luke's last episode here. Did we send you some cigar, Luke? Was that you?
No.
Would you like some?
I didn't get any cigar. Must have got lost in the mail.
Now.
Go ahead and.
I guess I got to do it now. Okay.
Yeah, Steve, send this man some cigar. Care of Frank the turkey. Was that Frank? Was it turkey named Frank? Who was the turkey name when you brought him on here?
That's Fred.
Fred.
Yeah.
Fred the turkey. Yeah. All right.
He's dead.
That makes a lot more sense. Did you say he's dead?
Yeah, it's already made it past one Thanksgiving. But
oh, buddy. Okay.
Was he delicious?
Well, you cook it right, yeah.
Dang. Oh, Fred wasn't even tasting good.
Just tough and game. Poor old Fred. Yeah.
Hey, have you ever ate bobcat?
Not knowingly.
Sassy Dad and I were driving. You just mentioned Luke Graham winning the Cass State Championship on Tim's Ford. Sassy Dan and I were driving to the day one spot, which was a killer day two spot, but we didn't go there, obviously. And there was a dead bobcat on the side of the road. Looked like he had just laid there asleep, you know. And Jimmy Talley, our old buddy from South Pittsburgh, Ryan, he had one creeping up on him as he was fishing close to the bank. But there was a bobcat laying on the side of the road. And in hindsight, I wish I would have put it in a hefty bag and put it in the Verbo in the freezer and had it taxidermed. But yeah, I don't know.
Did you consider eating it?
No, I just wondered. I mean, we've all had goat, and Ryan just ate gar and all that kind of stuff. But raccoon, I've had raccoon chili and possum chili. So, I mean, that's essentially
we're heading down a rabbit hole early tonight.
So anyway,
what's the most exotic cat you've ever ate, Luck?
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
most of the exotic cats are named Jasmine.
Luke was in the military, Ryan. Luke was in the military, so be careful what you're asking him.
Oh, I know what I'm asking.
I've been everywhere, man. There's a song about that, I believe.
What's the best Bobcat Johnny Cash Rolling Stones mashup?
Yeah.
What's the best Bobcat joint down Tenkiller way, Luke? As we transition over to talking about the
Bobcat. There's some good Bobcat hunting out this way.
Oh, okay, I meant to eat, but okay.
Yeah.
What about the Bobcats that are?
Bobcat? I think it's highly illegal.
Okay, good.
Well, we're in trouble.
Yeah, sorry, Ben. He said, "Oh dear Lord, what have I wandered into eating bobcats?" No, we're not. We're talking Bassmaster Championship location first up. So yeah, Tenkiller Lake, man, was chosen. Most people were happy about it. I think there was one person that continuously is still crying about it, but we won't talk about that. Tell us about how that went, Steve. How did we come to choose Tenkiller? I know it was going to be somewhere near Grand Lake, but there's a lot of choices around here.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, like everything else that we try to do, from when Ryan and I started all the kayak junk that we do, we talk to the people, and so I reached out to a lot of people in the Arkansas, Texas, Oklahoma area, and people brought up, Eufaula, is it Gibson, and of course, the two that you hammer into our brains every year, all year long. But Tenkiller seemed like the one that was the most diverse. Because what we all do is when we look at locations, we try to think of angler experience first. So, if we're going to Lake X, then it may suit only one type of fishing kind of thing. So, talk to Matt Looney with Pro Guide, who lives out there, and obviously the boats are on Grand. And so he started mentioning other lakes, and listening to all of you that I had messaged, Tenkiller just seemed like it. And then, we were talking about football behind the scenes, with Arkansas. And I'm just waiting. I think like Lambert, since 2017, when we were over here at the house one evening, and I thought it was over then in the Mark Ingram days, and Alabama just kept progressively just chugging right along. But I think this is it. I think the old man is wheezing. He's wheezing. So the iron lung is kicked in. And so, but getting to the football segue, Kenyatta Walker, who used to play for Florida, he is the man at Cherokee County out there next to Tahlequah, which is who's hosting us. So got connected with him through some, and it's amazing how God works, whatever you want to call it, the kayak gurus. But I reach out to this little small town, and after about 3 or 4 conversations, I land with the 2 people who connected me with Tenkiller, and the vibe and the people kind of sold me on it, especially when you all were talking about the fishing and what it can do. Like Lambert and I, we've always had, he's my brother. So we argue, we fuss, we cuss, we carry on. Not every tournament's going to stud 120 inches per day. And he understands that. And so the tough lakes are the lakes that bring it about. And so I looked at Eufaula a lot because that's the name. And then, when everybody cussed and rage came because I mentioned the word Eufaula out loud, I told them it was in Oklahoma, not Alabama. And so, but I got to looking at that and just looking at the map and talking to the people in the area, keeping it in close proximity to Tulsa. Tenkiller was it, and then I reached out. So after we talk about the kayak stuff with one another, I typically try to find the team trails, the best bass boat trails in the area, and then I'll talk to those tournament directors and see what they have to say. And they typically send me results and things like that. So Brad Case, I love you, and Brad he's great. He helps us with a lot. But I'm sorry, Tenkiller just trumped Eufaula on 8 out of the 10 check boxes. So that's how it happened. And something that I've learned and gotten really excited about with Bassmaster is, like they were at Tenkiller in 2019 when Carl Jochimson, our Tennessee boy, we're going to claim him, via Australia. When we reconnect with these cities or these lakes that Bassmaster came to forever ago, now they want us to come back with the kayaking. And that does segue and lead to a bass boat tournament coming eventually. So I feel like that's kind of a new in that we found. Hey, bring the kayaks in 2025, and maybe you get a boat tournament or a college championship in 2026. And so that's something that GL Compton and I have kind of gotten a little bit of insight on, and it's been great. And I think that that's something that also is going to help something that we need on the Bassmaster circuit, which is sponsorship. Because, all of us, with your all's support and help, this is a reinvention, so to speak, of what we're doing this year. And so we're recreating a lot of things and just doing the sniff test and trying to put out a product that hopefully you all will enjoy. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of it. There's a lot of things that I feel like I failed on, but not in a negative manner, but we'll make it right in the next year. So that's how we got to Tenkiller. All of that I just rambled on about.
Luck from
I'm excited, man. I'm freaking pumped for next year. I just am.
From a local perspective, Luck, how do you feel about Tenkiller? I mean, is that a solid choice in your book, since you probably have more experience than a lot of the other armchair quarterbacks that like to weigh in on things?
Yeah, coming from both those places, I've fished Tenkiller a lot more than I have Eufaula, just because of location. But the times I have fished Eufaula, one out of a boat and out of a kayak, I mean, Eufaula is a great fishery. It does have good largemouth population, which is mostly going to focus on that, and it does have some smallmouth, but more people that fish the smallmouth catching it, not always normal. You can snag a 19, 20 inch as well. Good spots. Eufaula is a great lake as well, but it is further east than south than Tenkiller. So Tenkiller, to me, is one of the better choices out of the two lakes, because Eufaula, if you take a look at it, Eufaula would be one of the biggest lakes, like in the series that you fish. It is a massive lake, has immense amount of shoreline to cover. Tenkiller Lake is also very big, but not as vast as Eufaula. Tenkiller is just a gorgeous fishery, for one. It's located, over in Tahlequah area, which is, super clear spring-fed water. Down south toward the dam, you're going to get really clear, clean water. Up north, really far, you get clear, clean water unless it rains and it can murk it up. But I mean, it is a lake that gets constant, anglers on it. I mean, it's a great lake. Some really big smallmouth throughout the entire lake, from south all the way to north, and same thing with largemouth and big spots. It's just I think it's a great choice for Bassmaster, or even anybody. At one point in time, we did even have a Hobie satellite there several years ago, and it was a great fishery.
Luke, you need to comment on one thing, which will make Ryan's ears perk up, and Steve's. He's from over that way. The smallmouth in there in the Illinois River and the lake itself are stocked Tennessee strain smallmouth. Is that correct?
Yeah. We, at one point in time, they were stocked Tennessee strain, and nowadays you'll still find those big Tennessee strain smallmouth all throughout the entire lake, as well as it's stocked with Florida strain largemouth. And it'll be a little bit earlier in the year for Florida strain, over in March, but they still, our Florida strain here, are a little bit more acclimated to the temperatures that we get here compared to other, what you're used to as Florida strains.
Is there a lot of grass on Tenkiller at all? How do those Florida strain kind of adjust to, the layout of the lake there?
So they line up on a little bit of everything. If you take a look at Tenkiller's topo maps and stuff, it's mostly rocky, deep. It's going to be a highland reservoir.
Yeah.
So just like almost all of Oklahoma lakes are highland reservoir lakes.
That's what I was thinking. That's why I was trying to picture how largemouth traditionally likes some kind of vegetables somewhere.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of lay downs, a lot of trees in the water. You might be able to find some grass here and there, but that is not the main focus. No, so
Gotcha.
not a lot of deep grass, but there is a lot of brush piles, a lot of ledges to fish off of, and deep long points and a bunch of docks.
Bob is coming through with the real facts. Northeast Oklahoma has one of the highest densities of casinos and dispensaries in the U.S.
That is a fact.
So
that is 100% fact.
Good eye, Bob.
We have a lot of land up here, and it was what we did, and it was really well priced for a while. And whenever we legalized medicinal marijuana, it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago now, I believe. Man, it has been bought up by so many companies from all over, the United States and beyond, other countries and stuff.
The old medicine man.
Yeah, I wish I'd have bought land around Tenkiller and Broken Bow. You could buy it for nothing. 10 years ago, you could buy it for nothing.
Not even that. I mean, 2017, around that time, it was still affordable. Nowadays, you go take a look at an acre plot over in Broken Bow, it's $300,000.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Absolutely. Speaking of Broken Bow, is there anything comparable to the Hochatown Saloon on Tenkiller?
On Tenkiller? Yeah. I'll tell you what, you go ahead into Tahlequah, you'll find whatever hoochie town you want.
Whoa,
hoochie town.
Easy.
This is a family show, Luke.
Yeah, come on now.
Ryan, I got us rooms, you're coming. That's all there is to it. Yeah.
Well, I'll be there from an entertainment perspective because apparently I've just retired from fishing altogether. So
yeah,
we'll do a live podcast or something. How about that?
Same here. Joe Kirk literally grabbed me by the hand and brought me to a limit on Tim's Ford, which, by the way, Tim's Ford is a sleeper. Man, it was fun. It was fun. We've got some big smallmouth there.
Yes.
Oh, Baby Dale Hollow.
Talk about somebody in the comments just talked about the Illinois River has some giants, and it does. It's got some really big smallmouth up in the Illinois River. Can you talk about any of the boundaries yet, Steve? Has that been set? Like how far up the river you can go? Anything like that?
Yes, but it's in an email that I did not think to drag out before we got into this.
Okay. I have the log into your email, so I'll just pull it up real quick.
Go ahead. So what I did is obviously, I went into all the past tournaments and I looked and we're talking about 86 to 92 is what the top leaders have. There weren't a lot of tournaments with 20 plus anglers in it. But then I also understand that area, like in Tennessee, it took us a while to get onto Tourney X just because we didn't want to spend $5 an angler. Well, now we understand from a marketing perspective and just the transparency, $5 an angler is a bargain for Tourney X. And so I realized that Arkansas, and Oklahoma were slow to get into that, just like us. So I started looking at all of that. And so I just went with those boundaries there. I have the Tourney X page built, but it's hidden. But I don't want to get into that just yet because I do want to get with like Luke and a few others just to make sure that we're not into areas where there's gray that can bite us later on. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to make sure that we do.
I love the evolution of this sport. Now we actually look out for shit like that.
Yeah. Because you know how I am with confrontation. I hate it. I run from it. So
Bobby said them beaver ponds is in bounds if I plow this guy's corn on the way in. That's right.
So it like today, I sent you all the payout for the Susquehanna event, and I spent 4 hours. I'm talking about like 7.63%. I was tweaking payout adjustments just to see where I could get it to where I kind of want to, obviously it's a group effort, but I want to try to hopefully maybe change a narrative to where, money's tight regardless. No matter what you do for a living, money is tight. Extra income to tell boss lady or whomever that you're going kayak fishing, 17 hours away from home. is getting pretty thin. You know, they're fed up with it. They just are. And so I want to make it where the top, because let's just say Susky in particular, we got 151 anglers because we had a few but have to back out. The top 5-ish, 6, you beat 150 people, you know. You should be compensated heavily for that. And then from there on, and I don't know, that's just my heart. From there on, the rest of the people who are going to cash a check from the top 10%, hopefully we can help you pay for your trip. And that might sound like a participation trophy to some, but it's not, you know, because that's not the type of man that I am. But what it is we're giving you some sustainability money, hopefully. So I talked with Bassmaster today, and I played with the percentages, and we're within a percentage of it and a half on most of the payouts from this last year. So I wanted to introduce that infrastructure to where maybe the last place person gets $1,000. You know, so if you're traveling from Arkansas to Pennsylvania, you're probably going to spend $1,000 easily. Maybe that $1,000 keeps you in the game next year. Yeah. Well, we all don't have a big old Hank Jr. diesel like you got there, so
you need one.
Yeah. So maybe that's the next thing we try to do is not penalize the people for winning, but find some kind of way to find where you're happy in third place, taking home $3,000 and letting the rest of the field be able to fish again for 2 or 3 more events. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we've talked about it many times. You know, the evolution sometimes getting to where you have the same group of anglers fishing all the tournaments, you know, whether that's a prepaid field or an invited field, whether it's 100 anglers or whatever. The only way I think that happens is if it's sustainable, like you're saying, Steve. Like there's a way to make it viable and cost effective to do that. Otherwise, you're going to have locals jackpotting like they do now, and then you know, a dozen or a couple dozen that travel to most of them. So,
well, yeah, and it's kind of like you got to replant the trees. So like we just recently had the Kayak State Championship, and with that comes our directors meeting every year. And we have clubs come and clubs go, and clubs petition to join. And we have 10 teams, 10 clubs here in Tennessee. You know, we can expand and add 18 clubs if we wanted to. But if you do that, then what happens is you don't have enough anglers to field state championship teams. So you would have people fishing mine and Ryan's club for 3 events when you have to have 5. Then you would have people fishing another club for 3 to 4 events when you have to have 5. And then another club an hour and a half away on Lake Guntersville, 3 to 5 events. No one ever gets to field a state championship team. And the uncomfortable truth of it is you have to tell some people no sometimes. And that sucks, you know, because everyone works hard with their clubs that they're trying to build, as well as these national series and entities. And you know, I was messaging Vinny today. I mean, we love Vinny. We give him hell because of his spiked hair and everything, but
his tights.
Those guys have bought in. They've bought into what they do up there, and they listen to one another, and that's something we all should mirror ourselves after, like we do in Cast and the Texas clubs. And then I know Natural State, you know, y'all all are doing what you all do in the past. I feel like you guys kind of slowed down for a little bit, but talking to you and Kyle, I think you all are kind of ramping up again. And like California Bass Nation, I mean, you know, I talked to Kong a lot this week. I feel like Kong is doing it the right way. Kong has a structure and a system set up. And guess what he's doing? He's keeping it to himself because he understands to make something right, like Matt Skelton Lambert with West Tennessee, like what we do. We listen to everyone, and then we make our decision. Now, the minute we quit making good decisions, then you need to crucify us, you know, like we do everybody else when they screw up. But Matt does that, and so that's what Kong is doing. I think Kong, and if he makes me regret my words, I'm gonna fly out there and whoop him. But I think he has the right mentality. I really do in California. So you guys, I think some lemonade and stuff's coming y'all's way. You can get a little parchment of your thirst. So
yeah, I remember that before I retired from running tournaments, Steve, we got rid of the board, and I was just, I was listening to the anglers, but I was making the decisions myself. And you're right, that was much better.
Which kind of like the old lady, which don't ever call Jordan old lady. She'll put the old 9-10 combo they call it.
She's like 26, so I don't think you have to worry about that.
Yeah, so that's just it. It's kind of like, take me out to dinner, tell me where we want to go, so long that it's good, I'll eat it. And that's kind of the way a lot of the kayak fishing stuff is. It's like, we have people who have integrity. They look at you and they trust in you and your leadership. So just take the basic premise of what they want and need, and then put it into action. And then, like with the lightning storm tournaments Ryan and I have had, we owned it. We were like, we just gonna have you off the water. Like, listen, of all the people in the world, Ryan Lambert, this gung ho, hard charging, run through a wall, he has to call me and say, "Hey, dude, it's time to get off the water."
Well, when lightning's hitting like right over here, like when I cast and it blows my pop-R off, I'm like, all right, Steve, we can probably head on to the house. I'm tied up under this dock right now.
I lay the rods down. I take everything off. Sassy Dan got freaking hit by lightning, I swear to God, one year. And
walked it off or what? How'd that work?
Yeah. Cracked another beer and kept pedaling.
He shook his head. And
he blew that vape smoke out. It was good.
Yeah. It just made it more red. And why do we have so many gingers in kayak fishing? I don't get it.
That's
there it is, Ryan. I was waiting on our clip, and there it is.
There we go. He's been dancing around a few tonight. It started with the bobcat eating, and now we're getting
we got a solid 2 for sure. There we go.
Yep. So
I stand with the gingers. That's a new hashtag.
Oh boy!
Wow. Luke,
where were we?
Yeah. Luke, you're neck deep in running tournaments and helping with Oklahoma kayak anglers. You got any comments on what Steve was talking about trying to grow these organizations? Not the juniors.
Yeah, growing an organization. I mean, you guys have all experienced what the turmoil within growing an organization. We've the last 3 or 4 years, Oklahoma kayak anglers, we've grown significantly to where we were having an average of 40s. Which really isn't that bad, but we went from there to averaging 75 to almost 80 for the last 2 or 3 seasons now consecutively. Our season openers, 1 year at Eufaula, we had a season opener of 107, I believe, 106. Year after that, we had high 90s at Skytook, and this year was down in Arbuckle. It was in the 60s, but it was cold. And it was Arbuckle fishing a little tough. And it's southern Oklahoma. I mean, it's known for a big lake fishery, but it's known amongst everybody. And so it's highly pressured water. But it's a fun lake. But yeah, making those tournament decisions as a tournament director is it's tough. You don't always make the right lake decisions, but that's part of it.
There's so many variables that you can't control too. Like, I promise no tournament director has said, I really want to schedule a shitty tournament. Like, you don't want to go in and have bad weather or a drought or a lake drawdown or, a dozen things that you're not in control of. Now, there are things you can look at, like time of year and historical patterns and stuff like that, that'll give you a hint on things, but you still don't know when a cold front's going to blow through on one of those early tournaments or whatever. I mean, you don't want the anglers to, number one, sit out there and suffer because, nobody, I don't think, is going to enjoy any tournament in those circumstances, but especially the fish turn off. That just makes it worse.
Yeah, it's a constant battle of making the right decision, or you just do the best you can. It's thankless sometimes because those guys will just sit there and be like, why in the hell did you pick this crappy lake at this crappy time? And it's just one guy ripping, and then everyone else, once one person complains, it's just a domino of everyone's emotions and feelings.
Then they go over to that cesspool KBN.
Welcome to KBN, baby.
And here we all are talking.
Hey, in honor of
crap on the cotton.
We were talking college football earlier. Being a TD is a lot like being a college football coach. You don't get a lot of praise, but when things go sideways, boy, you are the worst.
Yep.
Coming for you.
They coming for you.
And
Do you have multiple clubs in Oklahoma, Luke, or is it mainly just one big club? Just kind of looking at that average. I mean, that's a really impressive average.
Yeah, it really is. We're lucky enough that, Oklahoma isn't massive, but all the good fishing is over on the eastern side of Oklahoma, pretty much. You take from OKC, a little bit west of OKC and straight east, and especially southeast Oklahoma. I mean, that's just the best fishing all around. So down at Durant, Oklahoma, down by Texoma, that's where we have our fisheries and wildlife hatchery, and that's where they do the Florida strain, all the Florida strain like breeding, and then they take them from there, dump them off in all these other lakes in Oklahoma. So we've been doing Florida strain largemouth for I don't know, since early 2000s, if not the 90s. And I mean, it's taken off. Some lakes took a little longer getting a hold of it, but a lot of them have really taken off, especially if you stay southern Oklahoma up not too far north. Grand Lake has them too.
Hey, I want to get into some of these
What's
questions.
Texoma? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Steve. Ask your question.
What's Texoma like? I hear a lot of people mention Texoma.
Yeah. Texoma is really big as well. It's another good fishery. I mean, it borders Texas and Oklahoma, hence the name Texoma Lake.
I get it.
It has some of the biggest smallmouth, largemouth, and spots as well. It's very good lake. If there was and that's a unique lake too, but there's tournaments there all the time. It also holds a crap ton of striper, like striper, not sandies or hybrids.
Yeah, and that was something we looked at as well. And again, everything we do is on the sleeve. I mean, we're going to show you. We looked at, so we're going to fish Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday you drive up for the championship to be on stage, which is cool because we all talked in the background like with the way it was previously. Do we separate it, blow it up, make it our own thing? But then we realized attaching to that classic, putting the ego aside, like we don't need to boat for jack crap. Well, yeah, you kind of do, because that's the platform. That's where you get heard. And so this last year, we did a pretty good job of it. So, but we looked at, so let's just say hypothetically, next year it's in Texas and it's in Houston. Well, what if we want to go to OHIV and it's 5-hour drive? You know what I mean? Does that matter anymore? Do we have to keep it an hour and a half in close proximity? Because Thursday, you're all going to meet up, the top 10. We're going to do a faux championship. We're going to announce you all in no particular order, let you talk for your sponsors or whomever else. And then we're going to hang out, relax, get a good night's sleep. And then you can drive 4 hours to be on the Bassmaster Classic stage at 4 p.m., wherever you're at. Is that okay to do? Can we move it outside so that we get the prime time lakes if we want to?
I think you can. I think one thing, like what you guys had going in Knoxville last year, a lot of the folks that weren't on the stage made that easy drive up just to hang out at the expo and do all that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they will do that. I mean, maybe that doesn't matter if you're only talking to, 100 anglers or something, but I don't know if they will do that if it's that far. But maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe they will do it.
I think possibly. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, look at how many actual anglers, from our side were there in the state, or what, maybe 20 of us, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think drawing from that field of anglers to be there. I think the people that are going to be there are the ones that are going to be up working the expo, doing sponsor stuff. They're going to be there anyway. So in my perspective, I would rather have the tournament on a great fishery instead of just some chip shot lake like, oh, well, it's water and it's got fish in it. Like, you want to see a show, like you're getting on the big stage. You want to put up a freaking, 23, 24-inch fish. That way the people sitting there in the crowd that are there to watch, the junior high bass boaters next, they're like, oh shit, like that's a huge fish. Like we're not just there for the kayak part. You're there on that stage in front of those people to open, a lot of eyes to what we're doing.
Yeah. And like Brad Case just made a comment that would require 2 Airbnbs. And I understand that. So, but and here's some real truth and conversation that we've all had the last 2 or 3 months in building 2024. Our schedule's been done for 2 months essentially, but we're waiting on an insurance rewording for the last event, which is fine. It's done. We're waiting on a person who just come back from vacation. So hopefully this week we get to announce this schedule. But Brad mentioned, and it's a good point, you know, that's 2 Airbnbs. So
not if you drive home after.
It's just true. So like if we are wanting, if
we can't complain about everything.
Kayaking to become what we think that it is right now, with this grand, you know, stage and presence across the country, we have to sacrifice 2 Airbnbs. We have to, like we've been doing for years, lose $700 when you win second place. Because, you know, the bass boat world's been around for a very, very, very long time. And that culture has been built for 30, 40 years of these guys just giving away money to chase the dream. We're not there in kayaking just yet. That's why, thank God, we have Open Series versus the elite kind of stuff structured just yet. Because we all have a good structure system for an elite series. We all do. There's 6 of them right now. If you want to text any certain number of people, we're not there just yet. Main reason being, like you all have mentioned here before, we don't have the sponsor support, because every series right now basically is paying entry fees back. Some are holding a little bit of marketing money back. Some are holding entry fees to pay into the championship. But at the end of the day, it's still your money that's getting paid back out right now. And that means, like what I just mentioned at the Bassmaster Classic, y'all show up, work these booths with your sponsors and your vendors, people that you don't know. We got a little girl on the Dugout team, Emily Grace. She showed up at Bassmaster Classic. She worked 4 booths from people that she's never spoke from. And Ethan Jett does it. Adam Reiser does it. Lambert does it. We all do it. Show up. I heard somebody mention this past weekend, I'm not putting them on my jersey unless they're giving me this or paying me this. Man, every sponsor that is on our Tennessee Valley Kayak Angler State Championship jersey are people that we did stuff for before they gave us the first thing. We've gotten a sense of entitlement to an extent that's not productive. It's not sustainable. We're not there yet. You know, we still have to have some humility to grow this. We just do.
I think people have lost, they get this wrong right off the jump, especially if anybody's new listening. The first thing you need to ask if you're out there, you know, banging the drum for sponsor dollars is, what can I do for you? Not I want it. Not I want this. I want that. It's, what can I do for you? What value can I give to you? And people forget that all the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, speaking to another night in a room or whatever, number one, if you're invited there, you're winning money anyway. So carve out $150 out of whatever the check is you're about to win, and that part's covered. Number two, if you're traveling around for this stuff, and this goes for anyone, keep up with your receipts and write this stuff off on your taxes, your entry fees, your mileage, a hotel. Help yourself. Like it, you know, there's a way to make this not taking an L, even when you're blowing money. The government's taking their piece anyway, so you might as well get some back.
Yeah. Can you claim tickets, traffic tickets, Ryan?
Well, you probably could if you paid them, Steve.
Hey, Ryan has tickets in Tennessee, Alabama, Oklahoma, Arkansas. That's awesome.
Florida, Pennsylvania. Those are the ones laying on my
you got to make a heat map like Jordan did for all the places he's won. You can make a map of all the places you have tickets. That'd be cool. We got a bunch of startup questions we want to get to as the night goes on. But before we get to that, I have one question I want to ask. And I've seen this on Twitter, and since we have an Oklahoman here, I'm going to use this opportunity. Luke, what goes on here?
That's drag racing.
A lot of bobcat eating, I think.
What goes on up there in that section?
That neck of woods is mostly a whole lot of farming goes.
It is inhabited then.
It is inhabited very loosely, and those guys are dangerous. I would be careful.
Oh boy.
There's not a lot of fishing. At one point in time, they tried stocking tiger muskie over there in one of the lakes. So whenever you see on the Oklahoma records, like the fish records, you'll see a tiger muskie. And at one point in time, they stalked him up there trying to get him in habit. I
I'm
forget.
sitting there looking for the blue. I guess there is one little dot right there in the middle. So
It
bit of
didn't
water.
work. They all died, or what happened? Somebody caught that one, and it was the Oklahoma State record. Then they all died.
Basically, they tried introducing him, and it lasted maybe a couple years, and then there was a big drought. No surprise, in the panhandle of Oklahoma, there was a drought and killed them all.
Ouch.
Yeah.
All right.
So the guy caught one, and he holds a record and forever will until I can go stock one and then catch him.
there we go. Now we know. Thank you for that education.
Welcome. That's what happens over there, farming and old tiger muskie.
There we go.
That's
Let's
why
go.
I suck at fishing. People like Luck, Drew, they all know like what minnows these things eat, and it's just like, dang, I've got no chance. I've got no chance. I just don't.
They
Sheesh.
all shatter white. Talk to Ewing, and he'll tell you all shatter
All
white. It's
shatter
only
white.
chatterbait you need.
Hey, I love Ewing. We were talking recently because I mean, granted, he's young, his testosterone is still building, but this dude, we were talking recently, and he asked me, how do I qualify for such and such? And I explained to him, and he said, okay, so basically, I'll just go and win A, B, and C, and then I'll qualify. And I just had to take my hat off and say, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, he's got it. He's got
When
it.
he
I
comes
mean,
back
that
with a
dude
full
is killing the
mustache, you're gonna
Hobie
be
series.
sorry.
Dude, so what's up
That's
with
that
that?
boiling
He and
tea.
Jackson have just destroyed like you know everything that they fish. They just do great at it. How are they beating all the rest of us to an extent?
It's
I mean,
crazy. Is there anything that they have in common?
They're
they
building
are
team.
young.
Young collegiate anglers just out there laying the wood.
Is it live scope? I dare say. I don't know. They're
I don't think so.
masterful at that.
Ewing is masterful at live scope. I don't think live scope is what it is that gives them that juice, though. You know, I think they get to practice.
Time
Like
on the water.
obviously, yeah. Like I think if you look at what they're doing all the time, keep up with them on social media, they're fishing all the time. Like I think a big part of that is just staying sharp.
You know what we need to do? We need to get them boys wives and kids. That's what we need to do. And then that'll be the end of that.
Yeah, you may help them make some bad decisions, and we'll all cash some checks. That's all there is to it,
buddy. That's a tough sell for those kids.
Yeah, straight laced there, so.
I don't see that happening at all.
Talented anglers, nonetheless.
One thing I would like to request before we get to the questions is please, folks, please slow down your schedule releases. Please, because it's very hard to get schedules done in a timely manner. I feel like it gets earlier and earlier every year. Oh man, this year, I spent 3 hours today. And granted, I have a wonderful life, but 3 hours today of just, I was in a washing machine, just trying to call chambers, get things lined down to make certain that we can all deconflict where we can. Man, I never thought, I mean, like again, like I mentioned to you, it's been a good while. Our schedule was confirmed. We had one signature because of the insurance thing. So 2 months ago, we had it all nailed down. And I'll just share, we're going 5 events plus a championship again. Reason being, I pushed because in my mind, I talked to Bob Baller. I'm wanting to go to A, B, and C. I want to do this. And we, like me and Ryan talked about, and Ryan gave me some, believe it or not, people, he gives good advice. Don't go too big. Don't go too big. And so I'm trying to add 6, 7, 8 events. And even Hank Weldon with Bassmaster said, hey, listen, let's continue to put out a good product to the people. Let's help them understand that we have this under control. Give them another year of doing it the right way, which we think we've done so far. And then let's expand. And so we're going to go back with 5 and a championship next year. We've deconflicted everywhere that we can, we think. Drew and them have their series. Obviously, AJ and I, we're all great friends. And so we communicate. And so, we only have a certain amount of anglers. So we try to hopefully split it up the best that we can. Something I will say, I don't think you're going to see much change in Bassmaster as far as rules go. As I came to you all hat in hand, we kind of missed on the communication rule thing, trying to be as restrictive as we could to try to maybe eliminate some things that might not necessarily have been as big an issue as we thought or were led to believe. So we'll own that. So we're going to revamp those. We're going to tweak those out. And from there, I think we kind of just leave it set alone. I think everything else, obviously a few things like the check in, check out, we're not going to worry about that. Tourney X, in my opinion, is absolutely the best management app that we have in the industry. But Cell Signal, unless we have something that I don't know about, Cell Signal is still the bane of the existence. And so until we can do that, the check in and out thing will go away. So from there, I kind of think we're just going to stay where we're at. I feel like the off limits period. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to ask you, with all these, different directors talking and trying to work out has anyone asserted themselves and say, look, we're doing it this weekend. Y'all figure it out. Has anyone tried that move? The power move?
I ain't answering that. Get out of here.
I mean, whether you have tried it or not.
You can't talk game to a game show host. I know.
Come on, Steve.
When you drop the schedule, that's the schedule. Sorry,
There's a few schedules that were sent our way that said, hey, here's what we've got booked. But I will say that the two that were said, do you have an issue with anything? And I had one event and both of them said, okay, we'll deconflict. And then I had one message me, and then I was able to deconflict that. So yeah, everybody's still continuing the unity thing. I mean, because let's just face it and call it what it is. AJ McWhorter has built the best tournament series kayak fishing has ever had. And from that garners a great amount of respect from me, where if I'm doing something that is possibly conflicting with something that he might have, I will take a little bit of a back seat to an extent, unless I'm asked specifically from someone to do something for them at a certain visitors bureau or chamber. And then you go on to KBF, and then the Kayak Adventure Series, and then of course Queen City and All American and everything. And I think All American has some dates that are going to overlap what Bassmaster does, but I think they are so far away regionally, it might only affect 1 or 0 people. But anything else, I mean,
they're probably fishing on like Tuesday, Wednesday now, so that would just cut out.
Let me ask you this, and we'll get some of these questions. Do you take tentative schedules into consideration?
Not really. Now, if I get a tentative schedule, we will communicate verbally, and then it's like, well, I talked to them, at the sit-go station. Then it's like, okay, whatever, we got to move on.
You got to move on.
Yeah.
All right.
What about family birthdays and doctor's appointments?
No, that's only me, because I got 4 granddaughters and a wife. I mean, that's just me. Yeah.
Being a tournament director right there.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. Let's get into some of these questions real quick, because we're running long, which I love, because it's a great conversation tonight. It's a great show.
My wife's in the bed. I don't care. Y'all go.
Yeah, I'm good. We can keep on. We can keep on trucking. We got some questions from over on Facebook from earlier. I'm going to scroll back to them. Chris from Facebook. I'm not going to pronounce that name. Chris W. What is considered a giant smallmouth in Oklahoma, Luke?
See, what is the state record smallmouth right now? Like 9 pounds, I believe.
Yeah,
somewhere
I think it's
around
9.2.
pounds. And it's out of it's out of I forgot the name. Latonka. I think it's Latonka Lake in Oklahoma. Has some really big smallmouth. It really kind of varies on what you mean by what's a giant smallmouth. That's a giant smallmouth in my opinion. My personal best is 6.5. 22 in like a quarter. Out of similar water as Tenkiller, not Tenkiller in specific, but you can average 21, 22, or not average, but there is 21, 22 inch smallmouth in Tenkiller everywhere.
Hey, you mentioned largemouth. Where do the largemouth go at that time of year? You said March. Is it particularly the Florida strand? What do they do? Like smallmouth where we live? Who the hell knows where they go? I don't know if they're up in an oak tree or at the bottom of a root system. I don't know.
Usually during that time of the year with water being, we're talking March now, we'll get into the nitty gritty, but March, we're looking at like 40s, depending on the Oklahoma winter. It could be 40s, it could be 50s, somewhere around there, just depending on how mild or how cold it is. As far as like where they go, I mean, there's rock ledges all over that entire place, and so they can follow those ledges. Those smallmouth, like we said, are mostly Tennessee strain smallmouth, so they love moving water. Anywhere you can get bends, curves, a lot of deep ledges and points. There's also a lot of standing timber out there as well, if you can, find the areas.
Isn't that what Jakobsen was doing? Dropping jigs in that standing timber way out deep?
Yeah, I was ready to say, if you look at that link you threw up earlier, Jakobsen, Zaldane, which, I mean, I love Zaldane, Edwin Evers, Aaron Martins. Those are my OG bass people that pulled me in because I'm a mega bass guy. But I mean, who knows? I mean, unless you got him on camera, I don't know what he throws. Corey Johnson and Brandon Card. All of their lures, a freaking spoon, a square bill, a shaky head. I mean, it was all over the board. Spook. There's people throwing a spook and a frog,
Oh, yeah.
See,
a
Brad?
buzz toad.
See, Brad? You could have been all right.
Yeah, this lake, Tenkiller, I mean, it's so diverse. You can catch them whatever way you want to. Me personally, I've caught, 3 and 4 pound smallmouth out of boats, in 20 foot of water throwing a Zara spook, and they'll come out of nowhere and just kill it. And I mean, right now, if somebody wanted to get out and have a good time in Oklahoma right now, come out, fish Tenkiller, throw a plopper, throw a spook, and just keep those in your hands all day long. If you get tired of working the top water, throw a spinner bait or a chatter bait or even a big glide bait. Man, I guarantee you'll spend all day wearing them out. You won't get tired. There's no way. I mean, it'll just be the funnest bite you'll have right now in Oklahoma. Oklahoma right now is fishing great.
To expand on what Luck just said, Ryan, years ago at Center Hill, you were pre-fishing, you ran into that old timer in the boat, and Ryan's doing what we do because we hadn't been in bass fishing probably 2 or 3 years. Old timer's throwing a freaking spook in the middle of hot as Satan's balls in Tennessee. He's throwing a spook top water.
That's my favorite way to throw a spook, actually.
What? Well, I mean, because you're a fan of balls, obviously, but so he does that and he cashes a check. Me, I get pouty. I'm angry because he can't. He snores. So does Sassy Dan, and I can't sleep.
But Steve doesn't.
You got to fall asleep first. So he does that. So what Luck was saying, these lakes this past weekend in the middle of fall here, gentlemen were throwing glide bait catching fish. I think these traditional seasonal baits are out the window. Just do it, man. They are in 1 foot to 25 foot. Derek Bostic and Josh Stewart. Me and Josh Stewart launched together again, and we were hour late apiece.
Yes.
And he's throwing a jig in 25 foot of water. Josh King is throwing a spoon in 25 foot of water. Joe Kirk catches a check in 6 inches of water on a wacky rig. So like what Luck was saying, I mean, he was mentioning all these different scenarios. What it all comes down to is get rid of the YouTube, get rid of the internet, and go out, put time on the water, throw those baits with a treble hook, single hooks, and figure out your own pattern. Yep. Don't look for people to figure out your own bite for you because you will lose your money. And these people whom we all like to say have more time on the water, I will venture to say this. If you look back at the Hobie and the Bassmaster for this last entire year, the PKAs that we all like to have cut up with, people that you don't understand or know are hammers are the people taking home that folded money. Them big head Benjamins. It's those people right there because they are throwing caution to the wind. They're getting rid of the YouTubes. And like, I love Ben Milliken. I mean, we all like that guy. I subscribe to his channel because I want to learn life skills.
No, we don't.
But you can't do what he does. You got to do what you do. Ryan is not a treble hook bait fisherman. So don't try and go and do that just because somebody else can do it. He goes and does this. I got to watch my tongue. This dude right here, we were on the phone in a tournament in February one year, and we've all caught fish. It's a decent tournament, TVK on Chickamauga 3 or 4 years ago. And he's raising hell. He's raising hell. We're fishing in February, yada, 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 yada. I'm saying, Ryan, it does not matter. You're fishing against people. You don't get to have blonde wigs, blue eyes, and long eyelashes. You just got to fish against us. Okay? You just got to fish against us.
Does that help?
You know what he does? Jeff, he digs in his kayak and finds a rusty driftwood swim bait hook, a 3/8 ounce hook with a driftwood sundrop swim bait, and says, hell, Steve, I've thrown everything but this. Bam! Hits big fish of the tournament, wins the tournament off the last bait that he finds underneath his feet in his kayak. Fishing is stupid. Fishermen are stupid. Baits are stupid. Fish are stupid. But it all plays out in the end. Just do your own thing. Just do your own thing. You can't Google it. You can't look up an encyclopedia from the 80s. You can't call Smithsonian Institute. You just have to get out. Fish for yourself. We see people all the time in the message boards and the chat groups. Where do I need to launch? What do I need to throw? What do I need to do? And some son of a buck shows up with a 2.8-inch Kitech and takes some rent money, and you get evicted. So just get out and fish, folks. That's all you got to do, man. And
just go fishing,
Pennsylvania.
You beautiful gingers. Just go fishing.
How did we get here? Something about not throwing spooks on topwaters. How I remember this started.
I think we asked what a good smallmouth was on Tenkiller.
I think that's what it was.
Somehow. Boy. Any comment?
Thanks, Luke.
I did my part. I can't
be here all week.
That's on him.
All right. Let me find some more questions. Steve, put Steve on mute for a second. Right?
Steve, don't answer.
Oh, geez, that was wonderful. All right, here's one. Luke, you've seen tournaments held there over the years. You know what's going on at that time of year.
Yeah.
Total inches that time of year. What do you think ballpark to take it?
Was it
mixed bag?
Is it a 3-day, 2-day?
2 day.
2.
It's in Oklahoma. Don't throw them horns up, Steve.
Yeah.
They beat Alabama. Hell, they can have it.
2-day tournament, I could see, mid 80s both days. So we're looking at like 170s, 180, somewhere around there.
Can it be one on all smallies, you think? Could it be?
You can catch 10 good smallies is the real question.
You could catch 10 good smallies, but more than likely you're going to have a mixed bag of smallmouth mixed with a couple really good largemouth, because we still have northern strain largemouth here as well, and most of ours are crossed between Floridas and northerns. But so they fish a little bit different in the wintertime, but they still hit. And then it also has some really good spots in there. One of my personal best spots in Oklahoma came out of there. It was like right around like 18 inches.
Okay.
But I mean, that's a big spot for Oklahoma. It might not be big, compared to some of these other lakes, but Oklahoma's is pretty decent that size.
It's good.
Over to YouTube, Casual Bass Guy. This one's for you, Steve. What's the ideal number for each state to send to the national championship? Is there an ideal number?
There is. I don't have it attained just yet. I've spoken with you all about this some, and then the other people who are running the Bass Nation. So it's a double-edged sword. So we don't have like the bass boat. Bass Nation is structured off the bass boats. The Bass Nation have their state, then the region, then the national. One person goes to Bassmaster Classic. It's pretty stringent. We don't have that just yet. So right now we're doing a percentage of the state championship or a percentage of your roster from the state championship. That's the best thing we have right now. Right now, we only have a few states that are sending more than 5 to 6. So until that gets out of hand, I think right now the percentage thing is what works. In my mind and my thoughts, talking to some of you all, I feel like 5 from each state should be what makes it. Because I'll just put in perspective, last year at the Bassmaster Classic here in Knoxville, Tennessee, we had 140 anglers. We had 69 from the opens, 70 something from the state. Well, that's because Tennessee, we had 190 people registered to fish Tennessee Bass Nation. We had 136 registered to fish Georgia Bass Nation. And hell, that's almost 40 people right there between those two states. So the fine line is, how do you punish a Bass Nation state for doing it and blowing it out of the water, and at the same time keep the Bassmaster Opens elite? And that's something I don't have figured out just yet. Until we have more than 2 or 3 states that it affects, I think we're okay with the percentage thing. But when we get into 6, 7 states that have double-digit anglers going, I think then that becomes a problem and we have to figure something out. But the double-edged sword to that is if we go to the boat structure, which I abhor, that seems like the best one to do. But we don't have enough anglers who have vacation time or just say the hell with the family and go fish whatever you want to do that. I mean, we can't do Arkansas Bass Nation, Tennessee Bass Nation state championship, Southeast region, national, 4 people go to the Bassmaster Classic. I feel like, and not to put it in a numbers game where the national championship needs 750 anglers, but we need 150 to 180, for it to gain. Because let's just put it how it is with all of us, none of us can read a tape measure. We hope our wives got cataracts. We need 150 people to 200 in a championship. We just do. And that's the way you do it. So in the Bassmaster Series at 5 events, you have 25. Dakota Lithium, who does an amazing job at supporting the kayak industry, there's 50 from there. So there's 75 anglers. We still need 75 more. And thankfully, right now, we're getting that from Bass Nation. When we get around 200, I feel like then I think we need to restructure. Do you all think that as long as we're around 150 to 200, we're okay, leaving it a little bit lax on the nation side? And then when we get to that point, then we need to dial it back.
Yeah, I think the nation side isn't there across the board yet to be able to have that kind of structure you're talking about. But as it grows, like Arkansas, we don't have a series here in Arkansas. We have an open, right? State championship open. So one state will have, like Tennessee, you've got a bunch of Tennessee opens within the state, I guess, series leading to a championship. Some states just have a championship like us. It needs to be a little more standard across the board before the restructure, I would suppose.
Well, and there's a challenge there because Bass Nation has always been state sovereignty. So you do what you want to do in Arkansas, you do in Tennessee, you do in Oklahoma. I kind of feel like we have to reinvent the wheel there, to where we don't have state sovereignty because we don't have the sheer number of clubs, like Kentucky. There's guys in Kentucky trying to start a Kentucky Bass Nation series, but there's 2 clubs up there in the bass boat world that control it all. There's only going to be one Kentucky club. There's only going to be one Tennessee, one Arkansas, one Georgia, one Alabama, one Mississippi club. I feel like we can structure our own system, and Bass Nation, which leads to Bassmaster, is on board with that. But the one hang up, Jeff, is that just because Luke Aryan calls and says, I want to start an Oklahoma series, is he got a light bulb in that brain? You know,
jury's still
That's
out.
questionable.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But,
well, here's the
I'm
deal.
making a joke. I'm making a joke because he's cool. But you know what I'm
Right
saying?
there.
So
That's a real problem because I talked to Frank from Slay Nation and he's run into
Yeah.
that, right? Where he's just
Dude,
said, "Oh
Frank-
yeah, okay,"
Frankie
and
is
let
a
a couple
great guy.
TDs, run off and run some Slay Nation stuff that ended up being knuckleheads. So, you
That's
got to
right,
be careful.
man.
You got to vet the TDs.
I mean, hell, you ready to meet at a truck stop parking lot? I mean, we get pissed off at this stuff, man, because we work hard at it, you know. So when you discredit it with the ego and the attitude, I mean, it's awful. I mean, like I congratulate Florida. Florida down there does 4 regions, and they've done a great job. And here's something that is amazing: they're only averaging 17 to 20 something each, but it's great because you add that cumulative number together. They're not having to travel 6 hours like we do somewhere. They're doing a good job at it. So I don't know. But so anyway, to answer the question, I feel like 5 is great. What we got now is what we got now, and we'll just keep tweaking it, just like I did with that payout on Susquehanna. I want to make it to where it's advantageous for people to have sustainability.
Luke, are y'all doing one? Do y'all have a Bass Nation over there?
We do not have a Bass Nation. At one point in time, we did. It kind of fell through. We didn't run it as a club, and but it is something that we might consider this next season. Now that it's been restructured and is being ran the way it is, I think it's something that we Oklahoma kayak anglers, we're gonna have to get together as a board and discuss if that's something we would like to partake in as well. We're always looking for ways to help out our anglers, be more successful and be able to achieve the goals and dreams that they have, whatever they might be, whether it's just the local stuff, whether it's jackpots, or whether, it's charity work that we can do, or whether it's, on the national level, just competing with the big dogs. And yeah, we definitely want to explore all avenues on that. I know that for sure. But yeah, I mean, we're a big club as well, and there's no reason we shouldn't be participating in that and giving our anglers something else to shoot for besides just our state championship, which how we have our Oklahoma structured is Oklahoma kayak anglers. We're kind of the host since we're the largest kayak angler club here, but then we have 5 other jackpots that are ran down in Tenkiller Lake. There's one that's held by Rivertown, and they run a jackpot. Farron Davidson runs it. Good dude. Old biscuits and gravy. If anyone remembers that,
That's right.
Biscuits and gravy.
Damn jerkbait box.
Old jerkbait thief.
All right, I'm gonna stop it right there. Let's not go on tirade to 2 hours. The great meme of 20. I forget what that it was, 18 or so, but yeah. So we have about 5 different jackpot clubs that basically the top 10%, or not 10%, top 5 anglers from each one of those jackpots get invited to our state, the Oklahoma State Championship. And this year it's being held on Broken Bow, not this weekend, but the next weekend after, on the 14th and 15th. And yeah, it's going to be, all of our clubs together fishing against each other. And it's going to be a fun thing. This year we're going to spice it up a little bit. Hopefully I don't put my foot in my mouth too much, but hey, tournament directors, we always do that. So this year we're going to have a little team club deal where top 5 from each club is going to count towards, a team trophy that can follow each club, so we're all kind of competing for it. And I kind of, took the idea from the All-American Series. I liked how they did that. And I think it's something just to add a little bit more excitement into the not mundane, but just the every year state championship that we always have. So
yeah, that's fun.
It's stuff like that to think of, as tournament directors, spice up the life a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And I know one thing in Arkansas, you may have run into this in Oklahoma, whoever was running Bass Nation before, was just trying to deal with the bass boat clubs. And Steve's heard that whole story before. But I think we made headway there, and things are loosening up. due to folks like Steve and the guys at Bass building those bridges for us to be able to work that out. So yeah.
Well, kind of like what they're doing in North Carolina and South Carolina. I mean, they're like here in Tennessee, we have so many clubs already. It doesn't make sense to start Calm in California. There's enough grassroots and local trail series. We don't need more. Let's just have an open championship for that. Communicate with one another, create a feeder system, and then let's do that. Luckily, in Tennessee and a few other states, we have room for a trail series because of the sponsor support that we get. But like what Luke was mentioning in Oklahoma, those numbers are impressive. Like what they started out with and everything. But not every state has like North Carolina and Tennessee and some of the other states, multiple clubs. What was it, Ryan, years ago? Like whether they're back again, Bluegrass Kayak Anglers in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
That's Kyler Branham and Jay Wallen. Well, used to that was AJ McWhorter, Jay Wallen, and Jake Stone's old club. That was it. That's the only club in Kentucky that was competition. It was the only one that there was. Now there's more. So oversaturation is dangerous in the kayak sport. I get mad at Jeff, so I want to start a club and do whatever. So the next thing you know, I'm averaging 6 to 12 people.
That's never
Well, I
happened
just
before.
hurt this other club,
Yeah.
So but you got to put that ego to the side, and that's so hard to do. It really is. But we talked about a whole lot tonight, and I appreciate all of you. 2024 is going to be pretty great. I'm very excited about the schedule that we have. Hopefully, thank God, the gentleman that's back from vacation on the last lake that we have to commit is there. And we get to announce a schedule this week, hopefully Thursday or Friday when we're up at Susquehanna. Talked to Ike and Ellie today. They've got the camera crew out. They're doing their thing. Talked to Marty Hughes. I wish we could put a camera on Marty Hughes all the time. Marty Hughes is getting up there. Jeff Little and them are poking around, and I'm excited about what everybody's doing on Susquehanna. That's a new chamber of commerce that we developed this year, and that's a sustainable one. Like once Bassmaster or whomever takes it off the schedule, those people are going to be engaged in the kayak community. We're going to meet at Jackass Brewery up there. So if you all are up there, come Thursday. Ryan, I'm pretty dang good at cornhole as of this past weekend. Might be able to snatch a chain or something.
Send me a video.
But no, it's kind of like at pool. I'm decent, never be what you all are. But these chambers that we're getting to meet and hang out with, I'm like what we do. I mean, we all get to run a tournament. You get into a hotel room. Hey, that's great. I've got to sit down, judge fish, hammer this. If I don't get out and hang out with our anglers, be involved, make a couple of wrong decisions or something, we don't stay connected, and that's something that I enjoy. I enjoy greatly.
Lord. Careful.
So as long as you don't put shrimp on my plate, I'm going to be there. I'm allergic to shrimp, by the way. And so that's what we're going to do. When we get to Susquehanna, our old buddy Kuth, he's riding up with me so we can break the drive up because it's about 13 hours for me.
Bring a booster.
We're going to drive up. We're going to hang out. We're going to get there Wednesday, hopefully. I'm going to go on into the chamber, get the venue set up. Thursday, we're going to go out and try to find some of you all on the lake somewhere. Steve Fields does an amazing job with Hobie, taking pictures. Mark Cisneros does a great job with Bassmaster. I want to show up at some ramps and just see what you all are doing, And then Thursday evening from 4 to 9, we're going to meet at the Jackass Brewery. And I hate that you're missing that one, Ryan. But I'm Dylan Lowry. If Dylan Lowry has any folding money in his wallet, I'm going to take all of it in cornhole because I practice. I'm there. And then Friday, we're going to do the registration, the board check, the whole 9 yards. Saturday, you guys are going to fish. We're going to try to meet up somewhere else. There's so much in Lewisburg. And I'm just sitting here getting Google stars in my eyes as I'm looking up things in that area. I'm just like, this
Google
is
stars in
gorgeous.
your eyes.
It's gorgeous. Like, we've got a Mennonite community right up the road from here, an hour from us. And I'm looking up there. These Amish blow the Mennonites away. When I get these Honeycrisp apples, it's going to blow my mind. This is all there is to it.
We will not have Amish slander on this show, Steve.
So when I get these Amish apples, I'm just going to let you know how good they are.
Oh,
And so Saturday, I want to have another shindig on Saturday.
There's another clip. We got eating bobcat and almost.
I'm gonna be busy the rest of the week.
Bobcat Amish apple stew. So on Saturday, when you've skunked, just come on out and hang out with us. Let the money winners go on and do their thing.
And get you some Mennonite, delicious food. Wow.
We're going to do our thing, and then Sunday we're going to give some people a lot of money, and then we're going home. So, but I appreciate that all that you all have given us as a platform. Luke, we're going to see you out in Oklahoma. We're going to have a good time there too. But that's something that we all have to do. We've got to keep all of this professionalism and grassrootsism all entwined. You just have to. You have to. You have to.
After skinning bobcats and hosting the Amish versus Mennonite fights
all these
at the Jackass
Amish
Brewery, we're going to keep it real professional when we're snatching chains all the way back to the house.
Just don't let no more gingers can sign up. We're at our cap of the gingers.
We got our caps on gingers.
Yes,
my Lord.
Enough. So
all right, I'm gonna go into a hole. I'll be quiet. Give this giveaway away.
What are you gonna say, Luke?
About that schedule, I am building the schedule for next year. So will you need to let me know what dates I need to avoid in Oklahoma, if you don't mind?
Absolutely will.
Just the championship, because we ain't driving out there twice.
The Bassmaster article and the graphic are generated as quick as this cat gives us a signature this week, and Hank Weldon signs it as well. We'll be good to go.
There we go. That's what I like to hear.
All right, so we're gonna do our giveaway, but I want to hit some rapid fires while we're waiting on everybody to hit the hashtag Z-Man for a chance to win. So yeah,
Z-Man.
throw the hashtag Z-Man in there for a chance to win. This doesn't have to be a long answer, just rapid fire. We'll go with Luke first. Will there ever be a pro kayak series, Luke?
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, Steve?
Yep.
All right, there we go.
I'm sitting on it right now.
Oh, this is really just for Steve, but it said, does Bass allow roll downs? It's a long question, but it's basically, does Bass allow roll downs for a state? If, like, say 5 qualify from a state, but number 5 can't go, can they send 6 or 7?
Yes, not numbers. Yes, it will roll down to the next non-qualified angler.
Okay. And also for Steve, but Luke, you can comment if this would be a good idea. Would Bass ever consider training directors to run tournaments so that there is more continuity about how these things are done?
I don't think so, just simply because there's no payroll to do that.
All right. There you go. It'd have to be an intern situation, free intern situation. Steve will intern. Anyone feeling to email him?
Really just got to despise yourself. And
you got to hate yourself. Like, put yourself in the cods and say, I'll help you. Oh.
And basically, you can't fish anymore, pretty much.
Yeah. And get labeled a cheating a-hole that gives away spots. Yeah.
I got labeled that as a tournament director before Tourney X was even being used much. Every time I'd win a tournament or do good, they'd be like, "Oh God, yeah, we know why he won." I'm like, "Wait a minute, we're using digital cameras. How did I do it?"
Yeah. I remember Robert Weicker showing up with a digital camera, and I was like, "What is this guy doing?"
Mm-hmm.
Digital camera. Okay.
Crazy. All right, Ryan, we're going to hit this giveaway. Let's see. Drum roll.
Let's hit it, brother.
Let's see who's going to get slow rolled tonight. I apologize in advance. It's going to be Facebook or YouTube tonight, y'all. Maybe Twitch? Can we get a Twitch? Ty Vaughn. There you go, Ty. You're the Z-Man winner over on YouTube, man. Appreciate all of you watching. That was an unbelievably fun show. Wow.
123, 125 all night.
Yeah. We're running up in the 120s.
Streams. Yeah.
Yep. Well, next time we need to start a bingo card for what might get said on here. I don't think Bobcats or Ginger Caps would have been on there for.
I don't think
you got to watch out for that Luke guy. You just never know about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a real wild card on here.
He didn't bring out his AR collection tonight, at least. Last time I think we had him on, he was like flak jacketed up, had his AR in the back. So
yeah, I think that was a little after the show. We're still a little young in the night for that.
The boss lady texted me. I got a fire I got to put out, so I got to go.
Well, gentlemen,
she
thank
said,
you.
Get off the air now.
I can hear you breathing.
Fellas,
y'all are cool as boots on a rooster. I appreciate y'all.
I love you, Steve-O. Appreciate it.
Love y'all. I'll see you in a little
Take
bit.
care, buddy.
We'll see y'all next
All right,
week with the Susky winner, huh, Ryan?
Yep, let's do it.
All right. See y'all.